It is inevitable that I was going to film this video. I'm sure that some of my students were already guessing why I didn't do this yet. And I'm referring to the fact of talking about the Fa Gong or Fa Qi. You might have seen a video where I finally did my first Qi Emission, although I did it actually 1 year ago before I learned the Fa Qi program. But it was really, let's say, a fake and assisted Fa Qi. I mean, the experience was there of the electricity running through the body. In that case was actually a time when I took one of my students, Thanasis from Greece, to Shifu Costantino Valente, asking him to become one of the instructors of the school under my invitation. And in that occasion Shifu decided to make me do Fa Qi, although I never done that practice before. Was quite surprised. But he really wanted me to do the Fa Qi for the first time with my students. That's the reason why, I guess. And in that occasion he put my hands on the kidney and basically pushed the energy through the body, and I experienced the whole process of emitting, let's say, but it wasn't really my thing. And I will publish that video because at the time I couldn't. At the time I didn't finish the qigong program yet. So only advanced students usually are allowed, who have finished the program, who are allowed to share this kind of videos. Now that I am, because I finished the program, I will share it with you, maybe next time, and talk a little bit about it in details. But in this topic of this video, I would like to talk about something which I think is more important. I've been talking about this I don't want to say since I started qigong, because it was quite clear for me, but very early on. Because many people are attracted by this Fa Qi thing, which for sure it's part of the progress, it's part of the process, but it's not really something mandatory, and it's not really something that everybody's going to manage to achieve, because certain things have to be in place. Of course, there are methods that can facilitate students to do it once, twice, but on the long run, being able to do it on your own, it really takes some kind of personal evolution, or many years of practice. So I don't want to go into details too much about this mechanism behind why it is possible to do Fa Qi and why certain people will not be able to do it, but I want to just summarize two aspects very quickly. The thing is that when we do Fa Qi, we really put in contact the sky and the earth, or the lower dantian and the higher dantian, whatever you want to call all these centers together, and then it manifests into this explosive force. And to have that ability means that the higher dantian needs to be quite developed as well. And this is not something that we can decide to do or not. It is actually something down to our personal evolution. That's why I stretch over the importance of becoming a good man, having good values, practicing in a pure way without attachment to the practice, because eventually it's going to lead us to a better development. So one reason why not everybody is going to be able to do it, it's because we really need to be a little bit evolved, so to speak, as human beings, to be able to master the more subtle aspect of the vital energy, which are what is going to activate actually the more dense aspect. The other possibility is that we really fill up the dantian like hell, and maybe we get some kind of help which is going to excite, so it's going to increase the density, not the density, the pressure in the dantian area, which is going to refine and turn that lower, more dense aspect of the vital energy into a more vibrational one, and at the stage we will be able to do it. Say this so far in my understanding and experience are the two conditions. Some kind of lower cultivation which takes many years, and maybe a little bit of help in terms of external agent to be able to activate that matter. The other one is actually being a more evolved human being who is able to have, let's say, I don't want to say full picture because I think life is quite an infinite thing, but let's say a direct experience and understanding and connection, both with the more dense aspect of the vital energy with the more subtle ones, which are crucial to activate actually the vital energy and take it to that, refining it to that stage, which is going to be later on perceived as an electric, let's say, Qi emission. Say this, which it's just the mechanic, so to speak, behind this entertaining, interesting process, especially if it is applied for healing other people, so unlocking the meridians, or maybe helping a practitioner to go faster into the practice, again by opening the channels and giving a little bit of help. Eventually the practice is the only way, in my opinion, to really do the work. Certain help that can come from our teachers in this sense can be beneficial for our progress, but the most important thing is the practice, daily practice. Say this: is it really important to do a Fa Qi or Fa Gong or whatever you want to call it? No, in my opinion. And this is something that I intuitively and experientially understood since the beginning of the path. Probably after 10 months I was already in, I had this clear understanding due to certain experiences, which of course these kind of experiences cannot be put into words, and those are the ones who are able to transform the way we perceive our life completely. And I will say that everything begins with something very simple in reality, which is sharpening our mind to a level of silence which can allow you, for instance, to enjoy the sound of a bird singing without your mind interfering in it. And when I mean this, I don't mean like just for a few seconds. I mean that openness of the mind and that clarity and transparency that allows to jump beyond the perceivable, the perception. So the movement of thoughts, the movement of perception, because that is the moment when I think we are really going into self-mastery to a higher degree. Not when we do a Fa Qi, because I've met various people who are not considered neither good people or models or developed human beings who can do it. So that moment, directing our attention towards that work of clarity, of silence, it's the door, it's a first step towards something that later on cannot be put into words anymore, and which can take us to extinguish our perception of ourselves in the way that we are, which means with all the bundle of suffering, struggles, self-importance, misunderstanding, limited human perception. Now, this is for me is far more important than anything we can do externally as a manifestation. Of course, the manifestations can be interesting, it can be a way to prove other people that we're not just talking. But now, like, say that I've put some video out there, so I can have some credential to talk about what I was already talking before, striving to that beyond, to a deeper understanding, to a deeper experience of life, which is not just a moment that you're doing a Fa Qi. It is a way that the operating system works within ourselves, a way that we perceive all of this around us. And when to be able to grow spiritually, let me allow you to use this word, so much misunderstood, so much misused nowadays, we need energy. And I will give you a very simple example. To see things clearly, a bulb needs to be fully on. If my light bulb is working 20%, I will see 20% around me. If the light bulb is working 100%, I can see more. So in the same way, when we cultivate vital energy and when we have this pure approach towards the practice, an honest approach towards growing as human beings, and we start to integrate this transparency of the mind silence of the mind beyond the idea of even ourselves. When we practice, we even forget. There's no the thought I'm sitting and practicing. There is just pure clarity. When this I don't want to call it achievement, when this discovery starts to take place in our daily life, it becomes the way we operate. Even the perception of everything around us change, because the subtle will be more evident. I will try to give an example. If my mind is really confusing, moving around, even during the practice, I won't be able to pay attention to all the different parts of the body, to spot new sensations, to be subtle in my understanding, because my mind is keeping busy, or maybe the perception of what's going on around me, which eventually is your mind, is getting disturbed, and we are not able to pay attention fully to what's there. So in the opposite scenario, when the mind becomes super quiet and super transparent, and this idea of I starts to be very weak, almost gone, it's like you're opening the rooftop, so your perception of everything that is happening around you is different. And even things that are thought not to be possible, they start to become possible, but they are not really important for you if you are a mature human being. I'm referring to the ability of reading people's thoughts, to grasping things intuitively in one go, to have some sort of intuition about certain things in life, to be able to go beyond the ordinary, even in terms of the perception of yourself in space, and it changes. All things that for a mature person will not be relevant, because a mature practitioner will discard everything that is temporary, everything that comes and goes. It will stay and abide in that quietness of the mind and transparency, because that's the only base foundation that is always there all the time. But when we start to refine ourselves, and there is energy inside ourselves, we are cultivating vital energy, and we are directing it unwantedly, almost, just because our heart is directed in that direction, towards a real, pure understanding of something which is more important than ourselves, than our achievement. The perception and the way we express ourselves in life, what are we able to do, what we're able to perceive, the relationship even with time and space, they change a lot, because at subtle level, matter is not really as we perceive it. Things that go again beyond the ordinary logic start to happen, and again, if you are mature enough, you even don't pay attention. You don't consider yourself special or anything like this. It's just that up to that moment everything was quite solid, and then things starts to become a little bit more subtle. So with this subtlety comes clarity, understanding, intuition, and we don't need anymore anybody telling us what to do. We are finally able to be and establish at the same time a connection with something greater than us, and that is the real goal for me of qigong. Is a tool, like once I was discussing with Shifu. It's a tool, it's not the goal, and people are misunderstanding the tool for the goal. So they're misunderstanding doing a Fa Chi for the goal, which is using this qigong like a ladder to, I don't want to say go to next level, there's not really next level, but as a tool for personal development. So I hope that now that you might have seen the video of my Qi Emission, and maybe have seen other of my videos, you really understand that what I'm trying to do is to give a I don't want to say a better perspective, because anybody is free to do whatever they want, but for me it's a shame to see 90% of practitioners or people really engage into the achievement stuff, into becoming superhuman, into this fantasy of teacher lineages and all this kind of fancy childish stuff. Who are you and what you can do if you have a tool that really works and optimize yourself? It's something that only you can find out, and you will see that there are much more important stuff that can be experienced, lived, and can transform our life than doing just a Fa Qi.